Yes. I have a very serious relationship right now, so I'm starting to understand a little bit of what goes on there. Never completely, ladies. I know, and I will very easily admit to you that I know I will never understand women, and that's perfectly fine with me. I don't want to. It's okay. I'm perfectly happy being a guy, and that's fine with me. So sometimes it's instant. You know, you say that thing, and as soon as you say it, as soon as it's out of your mouth, it's like, oh man, I should not have said that. And then other times, you know, down the road, you're like, oh, you know what? You know, maybe you run into the person, you notice they're not talking to you. It's like, what did I do to them? And you start thinking, oh yeah, a few months ago, I said this, or I did that, or I ignored them, or simple things you might not even know. And then that comes up, and you start to regret it. Other times, you know, we hesitate to speak up or defend someone or something that's valuable. You know, you see a friend of yours being, you know, made fun of for church, for going to church, something like that, and you just kind of stay in the corner and don't say anything and don't come to their aid, don't voice your opinion, whatever the deal is. You're in school, you're in college, and the professor just totally trashes something you believe in, and you don't say anything. Now, I believe there is a respect we should have for our elders, for authority. But in the same sense, I don't believe in and this is just Rick talking, so, you know, I would suggest going to your pastor and improving this. But that doesn't mean that you have to be silent. Okay, the professor brings something up in class and totally shoots you down, totally shoots your beliefs down. Talk to him. Say, hey, you know, this is what I believe, this is why I believe it. Know why you believe it. Okay, you don't know, start asking questions. Some of us have been in this for a long time. You know, as preachers' kids, you grow up in this, and sometimes you don't ask the question just because this is what we've always done, this is what we'll always do. Don't challenge it. Ask the question in the right way. Okay, ask not why do I have to do this, but, you know, Pastor, why do we believe these things? You know, why do we believe we're not supposed to go to this place or that place? Why do we believe we're not supposed to dress that way? And he's not going to say, well, you should just listen to me and just do it. He's not going to do that because he understands. You need to know for yourself. Okay, you need to have the truth and love the truth for yourself. Because what if somebody asks you, well, why do you people do this? I don't know. Because my pastor says we should. Why does that matter? You know, well, and then the other side that the world likes to throw at you, well, that's man's rules. That's not God's rules. That's your pastor saying you can't do this. Now, we know that that's not the case, but they don't know that. So be able to back it up, okay? So that professor, you know, he just tears down your beliefs in class. Put your hand up. You know, if he asks for opinion, he asks for the class to respond. Don't just sit there, your hands folded. Voice your opinion. If they're asking for it, give it to them. Okay? I've been in a few college classes, one namely philosophy class is always exciting for a Christian. You know, and they like to, you know, harp all these weird philosophies and all these theories, and, you know, the professor supposedly doesn't share his beliefs with you. He just kind of plays what they call the devil's advocate, and, you know, whatever theory comes up, he'll shoot it down somehow. He'll give you questions to make you think about that theory. So for those of you that aren't there yet and are planning to go to college, know the word. Know why you believe these things, because when you get there, it's all going to be challenged. College is all about challenging everything. They will flat out, at least my professors will flat out tell you that. You know, challenge it. Why? Why? So know why. Because they're going to challenge it. Your college classmates are going to challenge it. And then, you know, you're going to be sitting there in class, well, you know, they're making a good argument why it shouldn't be this way. So what's your argument going to be? You know, one case I remember particularly, we were talking about free will in philosophy class. Basically that you decide what happens in your life. You know, everything in your life is based off a decision you made. Okay, and one of the girls in class, and you know, we kind of talked about Adam and Eve a little bit because they made the decision to eat the apple and all that. And the girl was like, well, you know, I don't believe that's the case because what about tornadoes and earthquakes and all these things? You know, God just sends that. You can't do anything about that. And so everything kind of started turning that way. But, well, God just chooses to do it, and he doesn't care, and it has nothing to do with the decision you make. So I put up my hand, and the professor called on me, and I said, well, who chose to put the house there? Probably not God. You know, I mean, do I believe as a kid, you know, your decisions are influenced by the decisions your parents make. So in some cases you can understand that. But as an adult, you bought that house. You chose to be at that place at that time. So, you know, God knew that tornado was going to go through there, and he may have tried to stop you from buying the house. Or maybe it is part of his plan, but you still made that decision. And everybody's like, oh, yeah. So you never know. I mean, sometimes people would just be like, oh, that's stupid. Just whatever. You're just a weirdo Christian. You know, we're still going to talk about it this way. And they might. So you can't lose faith like that. But what if I hadn't said anything? What if I just sat there and they kept going and tearing this whole thing down and, you know, bashing my God? You know, God does not need us to defend him. He does not need us to defend him. But you need to defend what you believe in. Okay, because the world doesn't have a problem defending what they believe in. They will go out and have parades and have national holidays, and they will get rid of, in the United States, the National Day of Prayer, and they'll push their agenda. But you start talking about yours, and, oh, that's, you know, you're forcing your beliefs on us. What exactly are you doing to me? You know, I have to sit here and watch a parade go by that I don't want to see. So what if we don't voice that opinion? What if another personal story? Some of this stuff is going to be based on personal stories because that's what I know. I went to the dealership to have my oil changed in my car. So it was only going to be a short period of time, so I was just like, oh, I'll wait. You know, usually I change it myself, but I just, whatever, I'll sit here and wait. So I'm sitting there, and this lady comes in, she sits next to me, and we talk for probably, you know, I don't know, 20 minutes, 25 minutes, just about, you know, random things in life and all that. And, you know, I'm thinking, you know, I need to invite her to church. I think I have a church card in my wallet. I need to invite her to church. I need to invite her to church. I need to invite her to church. And I kept waiting for the right time, waiting for the right time, waiting for the right time, and then my car was done. And there went the right time. And I still regret that. Okay, what if I had said, hey, you know what? I go to church here. You should come check it out. You know, she had teenagers. She had a couple kids. Bring your kids. Come check this out. You know, what if that could have made a difference in somebody's life? I think those are the biggest regrets. Especially when you can remember a clear example like that, where, you know, what if I had said something to that person? You know, what if the person who came in and sat on the back row all by themselves, what if I had stopped and just smiled and said, hey, how you doing? My name's Rick. You know, good to see you here. Good to have you here. You know, where are you from? Just talk to them, be their friend. What if that person was saved through that? Kept coming back because you stopped to talk to them. I actually wrote a song a little while ago. I haven't finished it yet. But just kind of talking about that. You know, what about that kid that comes in as a last resort? Today's the day. Something doesn't happen today, it's over. Right. He comes in, he sits on that back pew, and we walk by him. Don't really talk to him, you know, maybe hi. But, you know, maybe we don't even notice him. Nobody knows his name. Nobody stops to talk to him. He goes home and commits suicide. When you had the power, you had the power to stop that. Those are the kind of regrets that will eat at you for the rest of your life. I don't know anybody personally necessarily that's happened to, but just think, if you approach every situation like that, what if I am this person's last chance? What if God put that person there, put me here on this day at this time to reach out to that person? What if, I have no idea what happened to that lady I talked to. What if God put me there to get an oil change, something I don't normally take to the store. I usually just do it myself. What if he put me there to reach that lady? I missed it. That could be you. That's probably been you. I think at some point we've all missed a chance to witness, okay? You walk through the grocery store once, you've had a billion chances to witness. Okay, we don't see it that way, but it's true. Everybody you come in contact with, that's a chance to witness. Now, and I'm talking to myself just as much as I'm talking to you, okay? As I'm teaching you guys today, I'm teaching me. Because I'll do the same thing. I'm typically a pretty quiet person. I will not go out of my way to talk to you. If you don't start the conversation, I most likely will not talk to you. And that's come back on me a few times. Well, that guy's just, stuck up and he thinks he's all that. He won't talk to us normal people, because I've been a musician and I've been up on the platform and, well, he's just too good for us. And then later, when we just happen to run into each other on the football field, it's like, hey, you're not a bad guy. I thought you were some stuck-up guy. And it's like, no, I'm just kind of shy. I don't really go out of my way to talk to people. So there are, your personality is going to affect that. But what if, you beat it into your brain, this is a chance to witness. You're stuck in line at the bank for, how long was that? Half hour, 45 minutes, an hour plus? I've never seen anything like that. It was like a ride for an amusement park where I come from. And so what if you're stuck there? They're trapped. Obviously they're there because they need to be. If they didn't need to be there, they wouldn't be standing in line. They can't get away from you. Just take that opportunity. I didn't think about this the other day, Ben, when we were standing in there, but think about that. You're standing with all these people who are either not having a conversation with somebody, just standing there being frustrated because the line's taking so long, or maybe just enjoying the air condition like I was doing. But that's an opportunity to witness. So what if you missed that? Maybe there's a little bit of regret that we didn't talk to somebody, maybe. And that's the way it is. So you go through life like that. When really I say you can't not have regrets. How else can I put that? Because that totally did not make sense. There's no way to not have regret in your life. Okay, you can't make it through life without having a regret. So you need to understand that it's impossible not to have regrets, but it's possible to live without regrets that cripple you, physically or spiritually. Okay, because, you can regret a mistake you made with this friend and decide that, well, since I made that mistake, I'm not going to make any more friends because I'm just going to hurt them. I've seen this in relationships a few times. Somebody has a relationship go bad. Well, I'm just not going to have another relationship because obviously I'm just going to get hurt. Or I'm just going to hurt them, not even intentionally. Or I'm going to make a mistake because I made a mistake in the past, so I'm not going to try that. I tried this once. I invited somebody to church once. I did. I was standing in line and I talked to them and they didn't come. So I'm just not going to do it again because apparently it doesn't work. So that's one way where regret can, work on you psychologically, spiritually. You can say, look, I made this mistake, God. I can't be a minister. I can't be a musician. I can't be a leader for the youth group. I can't be a good example to these kids around me because I made this mistake. And that can affect you spiritually. I'm not worthy to even talk to you, God. And we're not. Honestly, none of us are. But he paid that price so we can be. He covers all that. But if we choose to live with that regret in our lives, that can shut that down. I've had that in the past. You're about to take the step and you think, well, I'm not worth it. I did this, I did that. I can't do this. For me, honestly, one of my regrets is that it has taken me so long to kind of develop in ministry. Okay, I've been in church my whole life. I'm 22, and I basically just started kind of preaching and teaching last year. Now, I've been a guitarist in the church for 10 years. I've played youth camps, statewide things in the United States and all that stuff, and that's great, and that's a ministry. But, I kind of knew this was coming, and just kind of took my time. I didn't really want to do that. I'm not a preacher. I don't particularly like being in front of people and talking to people. It's different when you're playing with the band because you're kind of mixed in there. But when you're out here, I'm standing in front of all you people by myself. That's not my favorite thing.